The pension annual allowance is a tax. With the revenue, I've set a limit in terms of how much you can pay into a pension and still receive get tax relief on it. So for members of they're called defined contribution schemes, that's the NHS pension scheme. It's not how much you actually pay into the scheme, what's coming out as your contributions. It's the difference between the value of your pension at the start of the year and the value of the pension at the end of the year. They apply a formula. It's all about working out the notional growth and the value of your NHS pension. And if it's above a certain level, then there's an annual allowance charge to pay. Now, that has got a lot better recently. The recent sort of spring budget increased the threshold. It doesn't mean that it's disappeared, and it could well be the case that a lot of doctors will still incur an annual allowance charge, but hopefully the charges are going to be reduced compared to what they have been for the last 4 or 5 years, where they've been pretty substantial. Well, look, the removal of the lifetime allowance was a real godsend for GPs, because every GP that I meet, their pensions, their NHS pensions alone mean that they're going to breach the lifetime allowance. So the fact that this year it's still in place, but it's been charged at a 0 rate, and then as far as we know, come the next finance bill, which is coming out in the autumn, and we'll have full confirmation of it. But once it's totally scrapped, it's going to have a real impact on GP pensions. For example, some of my clients that I had been coming up to retirement in sort of March, April, the difference in their annual incomes index linked for the rest of their lives, before and after the lifetime allowance charge being removed, were £9,000 or £10,000 a year. So if they had taken a pension in March, they would have been £10,000 a year worse off for the rest of their lives. But because the lifetime allowance charge was removed, they're going to be £10,000 a year better off. So look, it's made a real difference. It also makes a massive difference for anybody that's thinking about maybe retiring early. There's a real chance that you will be getting a pension at 56 or 57 that you would have got had you kept on working to age 60, because the lifetime allowance charge has been removed. And I suppose that's where we come in. I can sort of tell them exactly what the difference is and help with the numbers. Look, you have to keep reviewing the thing, because they just constantly change the legislation. Going back years and years, we had A-Day, with the introduction of the 08 scheme, the 2015 scheme, annual allowance charges, lifetime allowance charges. They just keep on changing the pension scheme. So maybe information that you had from a few years ago just isn't relevant now. And again, that's why I actively keep in touch with my clients, make sure they're kept up to date. I'm quite happy to speak to people when they contact me. This is where the expertise comes in. Because I'm talking about the NHS pension to every client every day. And we've got a technical department, and we keep abreast of all the legislative changes. I'm confident that any information I give out is going to be relevant, and that's my area of expertise, really. That's what we've built our advice on for decades. They definitely have more options, because the one thing that used to happen was a lot of GPs, maybe were, I think, personally misinformed, and that they often decided to opt out of the scheme or reduce their contributions if possible, when they would receive a statement saying that they'd had 100% of the lifetime allowance. That was never a reason to do that. Our advice was always to stay in. But the fact now that there isn't a lifetime allowance charge means that there's scope that if they want to accumulate more pension and take advantage of the tax relief that they get by making the contributions today, bringing down their income tax bill, plus building up a pot of money that they can rely on come to retirement. So, it's sort of jam today, jam tomorrow, because they can benefit financially, both now and, post-retirement. And that's really because the lifetime allowance charge has been removed. So there's lots of opportunity there, yeah. I suppose I just try to be there whenever I can. As I say, I get on hopefully with most of my clients that I speak to, and really just doing what I do want to say. I'm going to do, keeping in touch, making sure that I at least give them a call once a year. Some years they want to meet up, maybe some years they don't. Maybe they haven't made any sort of substantive changes, and that's absolutely fine. But just keeping that contact, let them know if I think things come along that are going to impact them and are worth knowing about. Again, just making that contact. But it's just keeping in touch with them regularly. And as I say, there's some years there's things that we need to do, and we need to sort of make changes, we put plans in place. Some years it's just making sure the stuff they have already is suitable, and we might not change anything. But it's really being consistent, and making sure that I keep in touch with them as regularly as they want and as useful. Well, I think some of the issues that we face here in the GPs face here in Northern Ireland is, look, again, the big one is it's not, it's not easy for them at the minute. They are under a lot of pressure, and the health service isn't in a great place. The waiting lists in Northern Ireland are well in excess of anywhere else in the UK. And as I say, we've had practices closing, and that's putting a lot of pressures on individuals. I've had a lot of people coming to me in the last couple of weeks reducing their sessions, people retiring from the practice, and just stuff like that didn't happen. Um, Even some of the changes legislation wise that they've made around the superannuation, they can't implement them in Northern Ireland because we don't have a sitting assembly. So they're happening across in England and Wales and in Scotland, but they're not happening. They're not happening here. Now, hopefully, we will follow suit eventually, and our politicians will get themselves together and get back into work, as it were. So it's really sort of, sometimes I think they can maybe hear things, or maybe read articles that really only apply across the water. They don't apply in Northern Ireland, and it's just about making sure that if they do speak to me, they're getting information that's up to date for where they live.